Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to Cloud Test Lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
This is how normally the primary keys will be passed based on our requirement. So currently you are able to pass, you are able to get the primary key. Yep.
Sorry. When you're returning back, we're returning the entire employee form, right?
Yeah.
The updated employee form.
Yeah.
Should we separately send these values, or is it going to read from the employee form, this employee ID?
That's what we are going to see. So now in our JSP page, normally your action attribute, form action attribute will be used to generate the URL path. Until now, you are specifying that as /login or /update to generate the path value. So once you have specified, the URL will get generated as localhost :8080, your test MVC, and the previous path index, and with the current path update, it will generate the URL like this. But we don't want to submit as a standalone update, simple update. We want to append /employee ID to this. So that means this particular value, where exactly we are configuring, this was specified at our form action level. That means you need to change your action parameter as well, and you have the option of specifying dynamically generated value within your form parameter, form action parameter. So here you are going to use your EL syntax $employee form dot empid, which means it will retrieve 100. It will take, during the HTML representation, it will provide the action attribute value as /update /100, and during the form submission, it will add /update /100 to the URL path. Then only it will submit the request to the server. So ultimately, you are the one supposed to generate the URL path also based on your requirement. Currently, with the index controller for our update employee, you can see that I'm constructing the request mapping path by using update /ID. ID was specified with curly braces. That means the ID value will be inserted dynamically by your Spring framework. So that means update /100 or any kind of value that will be mapped, it will call update employee method. Once after that, you are using @path variable, which specifies that I am expecting a path variable with name ID. So currently the ID and ID got matched. Whenever it has read the path parameter, it will take that value and it will provide that to you by using int ID. If you go back to your JSP page, here you can see that form action update / employee form dot empid. You guys already familiar with $of employee form dot employee ID. This is just like a simple EL to get the employee ID. But what we need to understand, the value will be generated automatically, dynamically, and it will be replaced during the form submission as update /100 or update /200, whatever the employee ID that was specified with respect to your form. If you execute your login page again, you need to execute welcome page. Now, if you verify the HTML content, you can see that the form ID, employee form, and action value update /1. So this will get added to your URL path and it will submit the request to your Spring application. Now, if I say submit, take a look at the URL. You can see that index / update /1, and once after that, get parameters are available. So your Spring application will read update /1 and it will match with update /ID, and it will use the ID, which is nothing but your 1, and it will incorporate that value with ID attribute path parameter employee ID. Which is your employee ID value. This is also one more usage for your annotations. See, there is no requirement to go ahead and use the path variable annotation. Sometimes people want to use the numbers at the request URL itself. I have seen a lot of URLs like this. Update /1. If you go and verify your gmail.com, there also they will specify your ID at the URL level only.
Krish, if we have a composite case, should we put it by comma separate value?
See, I just used as an example to specify it as a primary key. It's not required for us to go ahead and put primary keys only within the URL. You can place any kind of content within the URL. There is no requirement, and that's not a standard, to go ahead and use only the primary keys. You can write your employee first name also within the URL and submit to our form. Submit to our controller, and you can actually retrieve the data. There won't be any issue.
No, this for an update I'm asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling. You can use any kind of data within your URL submission, the path variable. If you want to place multiple keys, you can just specify one more slash and specify the composite key, the first one and second one, and you can retrieve both of them by using your path variables.
Slash, I want to know what is the thing. Is it like a pipe I would use, or slash? I don't know what to use.
No, slash. That is an URL, right? You can't use a pipe there.
And how about in the ID? Can you go back to the place where it says just ID? So there also it says slash, where it says specific parameters.
Yeah, slash.
There, yeah.
See, that is a URL. So that means you should go ahead only with slashes. Okay.
Can you come down, please? Yeah, there update slash in the flower bracket you have put ID, right? After ID you should have put one more. Assume that I have two parameters to send.
Put one more slash and specify the name.
Okay, but that is again within the curly braces, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not within the curly braces.
Oh, again one more. Okay. Okay, I thought it goes as a array kind of a thing. Okay.
I'm sorry. We'll complete validation and then we'll jump on to JDBC template. I'm sorry. Validation framework is whatever that we have learned with respect to our struts application as. So in struts application, we have seen how to use the validation framework by writing definitions.xml file, validator rules.xml file, and also validation.xml file. But with respect to Spring, it's not required for you to write any of those stuff. Spring validation is entirely based on annotations. Entirely based on annotations. Within your form itself, you can specify the validation criteria. Validation criteria, nothing but, let us say, if it is an username, normally you will have, it shouldn't be not null, or it shouldn't be not blank, or you can restrict for size, or minimum length, or maximum length. If it is an email, you have the validation for email. You have the option for going for regex, regular expression, to accept only certain characters. You have the option of using regular expressions. So normally these are the validations that are available in our validations rules.xml file also. But with Spring 3.0 version, they have incorporated JSR 303 validation. JSR nothing but Java Service Request. So whenever we have asked, we have informed the Java specification team about some changes or enhancements, they are going to release a new version. Before that, they are going to create some service requests. So that will be specified as JSR numbers. So JSR 303 is validation related one. So a lot of companies, they have informed to our Java team that validation should be made it as a standard, and it was not supposed to be as a separate framework. So once Java specification team, they have decided, they have released a separate spec for your validation framework, which consists of validations by using annotations. Your Java x.validation.star will consist of all the annotations required for your validation framework. So Spring has incorporated all those annotations, and you have the capability of using Spring validation annotations as well as your JSR validations. But before specifying any kind of stuff, you need to configure some beans to inform to the Spring framework about validation. See, if you write the validations within your employee form, let us say you have written employee form and you have mentioned that for username it is not null, and for password it is not null. You have mentioned all those validations. You have mentioned, but who will be going to perform the validation? Again, your Spring framework was supposed to perform the validation. That means some class supposed to be popped up and it was responsible to perform the validation, and if something got messed up, it will provide you by using a class called binding result. The binding result consists of a method called has errors. So once Spring framework has verified, see, from your front end, you are sending all the details like this is my first name and last name, designation and salary. You didn't send some of the parameters. So your Spring framework has identified that it has performed the validation and there are validation errors available. So that means once after it has raised some issue, once after Spring understands that there is an issue with your validation, it was supposed to provide the validation message to your application. That will be specified by using a class binding result. So binding result consists of a method called has errors, which will identify if there are any errors or not. If there are any errors, you can write some code and return the control back to scene page and display error messages. So with each and every annotation, you have the option of specifying an attribute called message, which will be displayed onto the front end whenever there is an issue occurred or whenever the user hasn't entered the username or password. Username is required or else password is required. You can just specify at your bean level itself. No need to write a separate properties file and specify it there. Once you have specified these things, you can make use of Spring Tag library. See, once you have specified all the information, your binding result you are going to see, and you have identified that there are 2 errors available. So that means you are going to return back to your same login page or register page, but not to success page. So within your login page, you should display the error messages to the user, or else user won't be able to understand what kind of issue, why it has returned back to the same page. For that one, just like how we have used in Struts framework, here also there is a tag called errors tag. The errors tag is responsible to display all the errors, and the path attribute is the associated attribute. Currently, the associated attribute is with respect to username, there is an issue and it will display to the user. So the changes that you are supposed to make, the first thing is configure validation related beans in XML file. Second thing is write annotations within our form bean. Third thing, you need to change or you need to add errors tag within our JSP page. These are the three changes that we need to make to enable our validation framework. Currently, we are using MVC, context. Here, you can see that there is one more namespace I have added, XMLNS :p namespace. The :p namespace, this is a special namespace which is used to refer any of the bean properties. The purpose of using this is, see, let us say as of now, we are configuring any kind of beans within our XML file. Let us say for our employee form, let us assume that we have configured our employee form within Spring beans.xml file. So that means how we'll write, we'll specify bean id equal to emp form, class equal to com dot spring dot bean dot employee form. You are going to write like this, and once after that, let us say you want to configure the properties. So you need to specify property name equal to emp id and value equal to 200. This is how we have configured during our core application. Spring feels that writing the properties is kind of an hectic process for each and every bean. Instead of that, you can make use of a namespace called P namespace. The P namespace, P means property. The property namespace allows you to directly use the names, the properties, instead of you writing the properties like this, and you can specify P colon. So it will provide you all the properties that are available corresponding to the bean. So that means you can specify P colon employee ID equal to 100. So just like an attribute that you are configuring for your bean, you can directly specify at this level. This is one more option that these guys have provided. Currently, you can see that I have specified this one. And for validation framework, you need to configure a class called bean validator. The bean validator is the one which will perform your validation. But for bean validator, you need to specify that you are using annotation based configuration. That will be specified by another class called configuration loader, and the name of the class is annotation bean validation configuration loader. So currently you are using annotation based bean validation. This will identify the employee form. This will perform your actual validation for each and every request. But the bean validator requires a property that needs to be set, which is configuration loader. But for configuration loader, you are referring to some other bean. You are not going to specify at the same level. So append -reference and specify the referenced bean. If you want to confirm, just go to the class name, go to your bean validator. Here you can see that there is a property called configuration loader. You can specify any number of properties by using the same syntax, P colon. If you place control space, you can see all the properties that are available within your class name. You can see that error code converter, validation rules, extra properties. So once you have enabled these two beans, your Spring will take care about the validation, and your Spring will take care about annotations from your employee form. So now the second step is configuring our employee bean. So for our employee bean, I just added only one message, one annotation, which is @ blank, and the message is employee last name not available, first name not available, and designation not available. I don't have any other configurations within my employee form. Now go back to our JSP page. The register JSP page, which is used for registration, just like how we have used in all other applications. So here you can see that I'm adding errors, employee first name, employee last name, and designation. So it will just print the data in red color, and I'm using the path attribute to provide the actual attribute name or your property name. So these are the three steps that you need to perform. And finally, at your controller level, when the form submits, it will go to index/register. So within your register, you are going to read your employee form, and you need to perform the validation on your employee form. So the validation you are not going to perform. You need to ask your Spring framework to perform the validation. So that means you need to declare a validator You need to declare a validator within your controller, and you need to specify that this is auto-valid. Nothing but this was provided by Spring framework itself. You have already configured a validator within your MVC. This is your validator. You are not going to perform your validation on your own. You are going to take the help of Spring framework only. So declare a variable validator. Your Spring will load based on this particular annotation, and finally call a method validate. The validate needs two parameters. The first one is your form bean, and the next one is your binding result object. So create a binding result object.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website h2kinfosys.com. On our website h2kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.